Alright, what's up everybody? We are here with UFC 327 predictions starting from the early prelims, ending at the main event. I felt really autistic saying that, but we're going to get straight into it. I'm not really in the flow right now, but we're going to try to get into it though. That's the goal. I haven't made a video in a long time where I really sat down and done something like this, but we hit 500 subscribers. That's big. That was my goal. I need to lock in. And that's what we're going to do. So, kicking off the early prelims, we have Charles Radke versus Francisco Padero. Padero. I'm picking Charles Radke to win this fight by early TKO in round 1. I have stats right here on my phone that you're not going to see. Their last 5 fights, Radke has been 3-2, fighting some pretty good fighters like Mike Malott and Carlos Prates. Those are guys he lost to, but besides that, he has 2 TKO wins and 1 sub, all finishes. Prado, 1-4. Nothing more to say, brothers. All right, up next on the prelims, we have the Battle of Unks. We have Kelvin Gastelum. Hold on. We have... All right, type. Hang on. Vicente Luque is hacking me. So for the second fight on the early prelims, we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. I'm picking Kelvin Gastelum to win this fight by decision. Vicente Luque, he's been looking bad ever since Buckley. I feel like ever since Buckley, he's just hasn't been good. Hasn't been very good, you know. Lost to Kevin Holland. I told myself I would never pick Kevin Holland again. And I don't think Kevin Holland's a very good fighter. And I think if you lose to Kevin Holland, then besides Buckley, you know, you're done. You're not that good anymore. And Kelvin Gastelum is a dog, durable. He fought Joe Pyfer, made it to a decision with him, landed big shots. Kelvin Gastelum by decision. Or maybe late rounds TKO. Up next, we have Chris Padilla versus Markel Medeiros. Both 5-0 in their last 5 fights. This one's a tough one for me because both fighters equally very good. Upcoming prospects, the 2 of them. But I'm going with Chris Padilla. I think he is the better fighter. You know, I think he's fought better competition, and that TKO win against Bonfim and the decision against Jal Herbert just gives him the edge. In my opinion, I think, you know, he will be the better fighter and he'll win this fight by decision. It will be a fight, though. Expect a war in this one. Up next, bathroom break. Okay, it's cool. We got Tatiana Suarez versus Lupe Godinez. I'm picking Suarez decision. Next, we have Gamrot. Matiz Gamrot. I always forget how to say Gamrot's name. I just say Gamrot. We got Gamrot versus Esteban Rivovic. I'm picking Esteban Rivovic. This is an underdog pick. Unpopular opinion. I'm gonna. You guys have to trust me right now. Gamrot has always been chinny. I am going. You know, this is a big underdog pick. It's probably. I have faith. I have faith in Rivovic. I got Esteban Rivovic by second round TKO. He might get taken down, get brought all the way to a decision, though. But it's okay, because if that happens, that means you were right and I was wrong. All right, up next, we have Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. I'm picking Randy Brown to win this fight by decision. Kevin Holland gives up way too much. I'm sick of him. I told myself ever since, let me see, I don't even remember which fight it was. It was fights way back when you know, I just kept seeing him give up, and I just got sick of it. Just not a fan of Kevin Holland anymore. He's popular amongst the fans, you know, because he talks a lot and he fights a ton, but in reality, Kevin Holland he doesn't really like to brawl. You know, he's a very good, you know, counter striker. He's good on offense, but when it comes to just being in a scrap, and I think someone just as long as him, like Randy Brown, he's going to struggle against. And I got Randy Brown win this fight by decision. But I could totally see him getting a TKO here. You never know. People forget,
man.
Randy Brown, he, I don't know, he knocked out Gabriel. He knocked out the other Bonfim brother. Shout out MMA Guru. I love doing that voice so much. Okay, up next we have Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico got slept out by Lerone Murphy, and Patricio Pitbull, he has 1 win, 1 loss in the UFC. Lost to Yair. Bad loss. Yair's kind of mid. Aaron Pico slumped out immediately. Fought really high competition, but fought Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy's literally like the Leon Edwards of the division. He doesn't really get finishes a lot, so suspect. No, not suspect chin. That was actually a perfect elbow. But I'm picking Patricio Pitbull to be able to use his knowledge from Bellator and just his experience in prior fights to defeat Aaron Pico by decision. I think it'll be a fun fight. I think Aaron Pico will be... He just can't help himself. I think he's going to try to go out there and look for a finish. And I think, he's going to get taken down a lot and held down up against the cage. And it will be a dominant win for Patricio Pitbull. Up next, kicking off the main card, we have a banger. This fight has very much potential to be fight of the night. We got an OG Cub Swanson versus Nate the Train Landwehr. Both of these guys love to scrap. These guys aren't afraid of getting knocked out. These guys go out there ready to fight. Nate Landwehr's coming out hungry. He's 2-3 in his last fights. He lost his last 2 fights by TKO. It seems like he struggles against, when he fights against, a name. Cub Swanson, he's experienced. He lost to Jonathan Martinez. He got robbed when he fought Andre Fili. I was there at his fight. I was here in person at 303 when he fought Andre Fili there. I got Cub Swanson winning this fight by decision. I think his pressure and his pace will be able to almost confuse Nate Landwehr and make him think, oh, well, I guess this guy isn't as old as I thought. And I think he will take him to decision and win the fight there. Up next, the Battle of Glass Cannons. Johnny Walker versus Dominick Reyes. I got Johnny Walker winning this one first round knockout. Both these fighters are very, very, very chinny. Very chinny. And, both of them have a lot of power. Both of them have very similar records in their last 5 fights. Reyes being 3-2. Losing to only Ryan Spann and Carlos Ulberg. Johnny Walker losing to Volkan Oezdemir and Ankalaev. I think Dominick Reyes' accuracy and his timing will be way better than Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is very wild, and don't get me wrong, he could definitely catch Johnny Walker with something and totally sleep him, but I just think Dominick Reyes is going to be too locked in, too ready, too fast. Dominick Reyes, first round knockout. Up next, we have Curtis Blades versus Josh Hockett. This one's an interesting one for me because, I love the show. I love the Sugar Show. I love the games. I saw Josh Hockett this week talking crazy to Yuri. People aren't liking that. People were wanting him to get beat down. But I kind of like Josh Hockett, dude. I saw his fight at 324, Paddy versus Gaethje. That was a fun fight. Josh Hockett's fast, but I don't know if he could withstand a big old heavy Curtis Blades on him. I got Curtis Blades winning this fight by submission round 2 or 3. As much as I would love to pick Josh Hockett to win by some type of TKO, it's not going to happen. Curtis Blades is too big, too strong. Josh Hockett's small guy. A lot of confidence, though, don't get me wrong, and he's fast. But I think the strength and technique of Blades will take over, and he'll be able to hold him down and do what he wants with him. Co-main event, we have Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. This is a light heavyweight fight. People need to leave my boy Azamat alone. I think, people need to put some respect on that man's name. I like Azamat. I think he's a really good fighter. He's a shorter guy with a mean left hand. Don't get me wrong. you know, he's a very tough guy. He beat Rakic very fast. I thought Rakic was gonna win that fight, but I think that's the fight that really won me over for Azamat. He's very technical, very fast, has amazing timing. Paulo Costa, he hasn't looked good in his last couple fights, and I think this is a really bad fight for him to take because, I don't know what he expects. I don't know how Paulo Costa wins this fight, truly. I think maybe if he gets lucky in a brawl, but there's no shot. I think Azamat's going to go in there and finish Paulo Costa in round 1. I got round 1 TKO for Azamat Murzakanov. Main event. Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. Let's go for that. I'm picking Yuri Prochazka to win this fight by knockout in round 2. Yuri Prochazka is hungry. He just had a kid. He's been in the forest talking all those spiritual things he's got going on. Give me Yuri Prochazka. He wants it. Let's go for that. Look out for my reaction video coming out soon. I will be reacting to this fight. I'm super hyped up for it. I'm hyped for Ulberg. I'm hyped for Yuri. Thank you guys for watching this video. Yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know if you agree with me or not. Thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers, and expect more videos coming out in the future.